Hey everyone, it's Rajya and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be giving my book review of the first book in the Ramchandra series called Scion of Ikshvaku by Amish Tripathi. Before I start talking about the book, I would like to say that I post book-related videos daily on my channel, so please do like and subscribe if you like this video. And click on the bell notifications icon if you would like to receive notifications on whenever I post something new. I'm not going to get too much into the plot because it is a classic retelling of Ramayana, which we all know the story of. Even in this book, Raavan has become the ruler of Lanka, and he is imposing trade on the rest of the country. Because he is stealing the wealth from other parts of India, places like Ayodhya, which were once prosperous, have become very poor and corrupted now. But there is one savior, and he is, of course, the ostracized prince, Ram, and the reincarnation of Vishnu, who will be the people's savior and make the country prosperous once again. So that's the base synopsis of the plot, and I'm going to dig right into my review. Before I get started on my review, I just want to say that my review is going to contain spoilers because I'm going to talk about the things which I liked and disliked about the story. Oh god, I really wanted to like reading this book. I loved reading the Shiva trilogy, and I had really high expectations of the Ramchandra series as well. Unfortunately, I had mixed feelings about this book. So what made the Shiva trilogy so interesting and unique is that it spoke about a normal man who becomes a god, and it brought in interesting characters and different situations which made it so entertaining. The main problem with the Scion of Ikshvaku is that it's a classic retelling of one of the two main epics of India, which is widely known throughout the world. It is a very difficult and tricky situation to do a retelling of this epic, and unless you do it really carefully, it could be very disappointing to read. Okay, let's start off with the positives and what I liked about the story. The main thing that I enjoyed about the story was the personality of the characters. I loved how Ram and his brothers have unique personalities on their own and that they are so distinctive from one another. Ram is a very true and honest person who always abides by the law and wants to do things that are right, in contrast to his brother Bharat, who is more about freedom and living his life and making his own rules. I loved Lakshman as well, and how loyal he is towards Ram, and he would give his own life to protect his brother. Sita is also depicted as this very strong and confident woman who would protect the people of Mithila, and she would also fight wars if she had to. Ram is also distinctively different from Shiva, from the Shiva trilogy, because again, he is a strict follower of the law, whereas Shiva was more open-minded and focused on creating his own rules and having that eye for an eye mindset. I also loved reading about the romance between Ram and Sita, and I thought it was really sweet how they had a mutual respect for each other. And it just seemed like a very innocent kind of love where you just loved reading about them. I also loved how Mantra is depicted as this rich, powerful woman rather than just being Kaikeyi's maid. So a lot of the characters are very nicely revamped and more interesting. But that's probably the only thing that I liked about the story. Now, coming to the negative part, and boy, it's quite a lot. As much as I love Amish Tripathi's style of writing, the only way to describe Scion of Ikshvaku is lazy writing. I feel like he's just taken the main plot of Ramayana, added a lot of reused elements from the Shiva trilogy, randomly added new plots here and there, and just churned it out to the masses to release a new book. And there is hardly anything unique about it. The main thing which I disliked about the story was in its inconsistencies. So in the original story, Kaikeyi goes to Dashrath for him to grant her two boons, and that's when she orders him to exile Ram for 14 years and have Bharat become the ruler of Ayodhya. However, in this book, Ram has already volunteered to go on exile for 14 years before all of this even happens, because he shot the Asurastra to Ravan's army because that is not allowed by the law. Like, why would he even do that? And even if he had to punish himself, why does he have to choose that specific punishment? Okay, so Kaikeyi does ask for her boons to Dashrath later in the story, but if Ram has already accepted to going to exile, why are you even bringing up the topic? Because there is no conflict or drama between the characters. Then there is a Swayamvar scene where Ram has to fight for Sita's hand in marriage. The Swayamvar is taken from the Mahabharat people, not from the Ramayana. Did the author get confused between the two epics when he was writing the story? I was just rolling my eyes when I was reading the whole scene where Arjuna is using his archery skills to kill the fish to win Draupadi at the Swayamvar. Oh wait, the same thing has been put in the story with Ram and Sita instead. And let's not forget Roshni's death, which was very similar to the Nirbhaya case that happened in India. I get it that the author wanted to write something that would connect the reader with something relevant that was happening in the current world. But was it necessary to have Roshni's death so in line with that case, where it felt so unnecessary and so unoriginal and so forced? It just seemed like the author added that one element so that he could just write down his frustration on the case and how he would have his own form of justice for the criminals. Another thing which I loved about the Shiva trilogy was the profound philosophical conversations that Shiva used to have with Brihaspati or Vasudev or the other characters about life and its meaning and good and evil and the balance and all of that. The same impact is not there in this book. Okay, sure, there is some philosophical conversations here and there, but again, it's a lot of the same reused elements from the Shiva trilogy, and it's not even mentioned in detail, so it doesn't even have that impact on you. And lastly, there are just characters that are randomly mentioned in the story, and we don't even know why they have been included, like Vibhishana and Suparnaka. Yes, they just come into the story at the very end and they randomly stay with Ram, Sita and Lakshman in the forest and then just randomly disappear. Jatayu is also just mentioned at the blink of an eye and then is suddenly killed off. And then Hanuman makes a random appearance in like one scene. To be honest, even Ravan just makes a brief appearance in the story, and I think he's there for just like 2 or 3 chapters max. So while I'm all in favor for a good retelling, I don't think that the concept should be changed so much that it will disrupt the core of the storyline. You will definitely enjoy reading Scion of Ikshvaku if you don't know anything about Ramayana, or if you have not read the Shiva trilogy and you have just picked up this book and you want to know a gist of the epic. But for people who have actually read the original tale, this book seemed like a rushed, ridiculous, and a random retelling of the Ramayana. Overall, it was a very disappointing read, and I would give it a rating of only 2 to 2.5 out of 5 stars. If you have read the Scion of Ikshvaku, then what are your thoughts and opinions of the story? Did you enjoy it much more than I did? Please mention your thoughts and comments in the section below. Do like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and see you next time. Bye.